Hello, everybody. Welcome to this webinar. I can see people joining. I can see some familiar names. Welcome back for those of you who are our regular attendees. It's great to see some familiar names as well as new ones. So welcome back. Welcome for the first time. As usual, we'll give it 1 or 2 minutes to allow people to join before we begin. Hello, hi, Michael. Nice to see you. Yes, so you can see the chat option at the bottom, hopefully should be available to everyone to see. Please feel free to chat amongst each other. You can say where you are watching us from. I myself am in the UK, so it's 3 o'clock for me. So good afternoon for anyone in my time zone-ish. Good morning, good evening to anyone else, depending where you are in the world. Okay, more and more people join. Welcome from US, Ghana, Sweden. Okay, great. So yeah, a bit of logistics, Jamaica, hi. Stephen, yeah, amazing. So yeah, a bit of logistics to begin with. Like I said just a minute ago, and for those of you who have just joined, we've got a chat option available and Q&A options available in the in your toolbar. So feel free to chat. Feel free to ask questions during this webinar, which will be very much demo-based. I don't think we've got any slides. We will be basically just talking and sharing information and showing the demo. It's all about technical, really, demonstration and details. This is what we're all here for. So during the presentation, during the demos, feel free to ask questions as they as they pop into your head. You don't have to leave them towards the end. We will be monitoring the chat, we'll be monitoring the Q&A, and we will get to your questions in as soon as we can. And hopefully we can get discussion going. If anyone has answers to anyone's questions that are posted, feel free to post those as well. The chat is there for you to be used, really, not just for us to answer your questions. It's for everyone. So we encourage the discussion between everyone involved in this webinar. So and that's always nice to see, because everyone is coming with their own experience and knowledge. So please do share if you know more. You might know more than us, to be fair. Depends on the topic, depends on what you've been up to. So yes, please do share if you have answers. So great. Okay, so we are 4 minutes past the hour, so I think it's definitely time that we kick off, so we don't take too much of your time and don't overrun. So again, very much welcome to everyone who joined us today. My name is Dominika Tesarz-Sochacka. I am a marketing specialist at Payara and organizer of Payara webinars and other educational events that we're running. Really warm welcome to everyone who has joined us for the first time. So hopefully you will be back for more after this one, and also warm welcome to everyone who is joining us for another time. We run those webinars very regularly, a couple of times a month. So it's really nice to see familiar names coming back to learn more. So today we will be talking about JMS. So hopefully this is exactly what you're here for, because this is the topic of our webinar today. And I'm here with Peter and with Lukman, our Java Jakarta EE experts, who will take you through the webinar today. Like I said before, it will be demo-based, it will be educational. So hopefully you will get answers to your questions. Hopefully you will leave this webinar today with a little bit more knowledge about JMS for Jakarta EE developers. Okay, so without further ado, I'll stop sharing my screen, and I will leave you with Lukman and Peter. So take it away and yeah, enjoy.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, Dominica. Welcome everybody to this exciting talk. Peter is our resident concurrency expert. So when Peter takes the stage to talk about messaging, you should be excited because there's a lot to learn. So let me just hand over to Peter to take us straight into messaging. And as Dominica said, as and when you have questions, feel free to ask. I'll be monitoring the chat and answering those I can in the chat or passing them over to Peter. So let's set the car going with Peter on stage.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Lukman, and welcome everybody. Today we are going to speak about technology, which is actually not very known, as I saw in my experience of development in Java EE and Jakarta EE. It seems that lots of people don't know about it and don't know how easy and actually fun this technology is. So I will probably start with sharing my screen and my notes, so I can go. So I'm not sure if anybody of you ever tried some messaging. So I will start with some motivation behind sending messages. Imagine that you have a lot of complex tasks which are not that simple to finish. If they are simple to finish, and we will show an example for it. You can simply process them as you are used to. So if you have some REST, you can simply process the request, return it, and do it very quickly. The problem appears when the processing of the tasks is somewhat more complex. What I have seen, for example, is doing some longer search in database, looking for some information related to the task, then do the task and finish. And suddenly, if you do this as it counts, the server can easily become overloaded and you are in trouble. So a way how to solve this problem is sending a message to some other part, quickly return from the REST saying that thank you, this is being processed now, and do the process in the background, and then inform when it's done. And this all sounds very complex and very difficult, and in fact you will see that it involves just very few annotations and functions, that it's very easy. So today we will go through the creation of the whole application, and you will see the whole process. Before we start, I'd like to very quickly go through the options. So the first thing you may think about is that you can use my lovely concurrency. You can use manage executor service to limit the amount of tasks which are processed in parallel, which is fine. The problem is that if your server gets lots of these requests, and then suddenly some disaster happens, like somebody switches off the currency and the whole computer shuts down, and when it restarts, you lost all the messages. So that's working, but it has this problem. it's possible to solve it via CDI and its messages. For tiny messages, it's fine, but it's synchronous and you have the same problem. From the other side, you have another option, and it is to use some external messaging like Kafka. It is possible. It is great solution. It is high performance software, but it needs some setup. It needs some care, and makes your setup a bit more complex, and you need to not to forget it and set up it before you start your program. With JMS, you get it together with your Jakarta server, so you don't need anything. Good. Regarding the JMS, there are two ways how to process the messages. First is queue. Somebody sends you messages, and there is some other client which consumes the messages and process them. Later you will see that there may be more clients, but every message goes only into one client. So you can easily parallelize the processing. Say you will be able to set up the JMS queue to process, say, 1, 10, 200 requests in parallel. The other option is topic. When this works on the subscriber approach, when the client subscribe to the topic, and whenever the message is sent, the topic sends this message to every client. So in the queue, one message is sent only one client. In the topic, every message is sent to every client. This is more used for notification than parallel processing. Today we will concentrate more on the queue because I think it's more common way how the messages are processed. So today I will start. Okay, the way how we will process the queues is that there is some scheduler which sends messages to REST client, which sends a message to which create the message in JMS, and it is processed by EJB and eventual concurrency and JPA, but this is part of background processing. So let's start with the demo. I did a little preparation because I realized that I would spend too much time typing not important things, but I will show you quickly how to start. If you are using NetBeans, it's very easy. Start Java Maven web application, and you can work with Payara with the latest version. Sometimes I realized, especially in IDEA, that it's a problem. So we have another way. We have Payara Starter, where you can choose what you want to do. JMS init, then configuration. Today I want to use Java 17. I'm fine with this. I want to use the latest stable Jakarta full platform. JMS is not part of the smaller platform, so full don't need this at all right now. Actually, I like config. And we will use Payara server. There is option to use to incorporate also build of Docker image. I want to use it right now. That's all. And it generates a file which contains this project. And what I did was, this is basically this project. I created these 3 files in addition, actually nothing else. So what you get is that you have REST configured and you have this ping resource. So if you start your application, Payara should appear. Part of the preparation is that I prepared my server. This time I wasn't lazy, so I am using the latest version we published. And we see that it's slowly starts. It needs to start really slowly. Good. And it shows the main application. What I can try is the thing which works. Good. So
Peter, one of the attendees is asking if we can zoom in on the code. I don't know if that's possible. Yeah.
yes.
Hopefully that will help. Thank you.
So sorry, I cannot zoom. I don't know how to zoom the other.
No, I think you've already increased the size of the, yeah, I think it should be fine.
So my mistake here, the original is main. And you see, we have got something. Okay. We don't have the name. That's my lovely MP config microprofile config. So this works, and what I did, I added this ping which uses sender, and this is currently only simulation. It looks like it is sending a message to the receiver, and the receiver just prints that it has got a message, which is currently working, doesn't send any message, obviously. So it is working, and it is actually quite fast. So what I can do is I can try how fast it is. So if I can, I cannot increase this one. So here we are about 500 requests per second, which is boring because it's sequential. So let's make it more interesting. 500 concurrent requests, 10,000 requests in total. And we are running something like 4,000 requests per second. Good. So it works, but as we were talking about, we will have a problem when this receiver starts doing something big. Let's simulate it with, I know it's okay, but yeah. So let's simulate it with this. Again, deployed. Good. So it's redeployed. So here you see the messages in the log. You see that now it is very slower because every single request was is holding the HTTP thread. So what we can do is, and you can see that the computer is actually doing nothing. It's bored. So let's start working with some processing of some remaining requests, and we can start with JMS. So the basic idea is we will create a queue and we will send message to the queue instead of directly to the receiver. So what we need to do first is the listener. So let's do the listener here. Annotations, and it needs to implement message listener. I will very probably repeat time to time that I'm lazy. So you will see doing plenty of lazy stuff. Okay, so here will be the part which listens to the message. So it will call the receiver. So we will, and because I am old, I'm using EJBs. It's possible to use CDI as well. So I use EJBs.
Peter, I would want to just make a note here as you are using EJB, just so that people don't fly out of the webinar because you have mentioned EJB. Guys, EJB is a very powerful technology that is still very viable. So don't get scared. EJB, unfortunately, has always been misunderstood. And the initial problems it had has always affected it. So don't worry, EJB is still available. You can use it as it is on the platform, and you shouldn't have any problems. So if you see Peter using EJB, don't get freaked out. There is nothing wrong with EJBs.
Yeah, that's my point. There's nothing wrong with EJBs. You will hear lots of rumors about EJBs, how difficult it is. It was difficult in 2004, I think. In EJB 2 point something, and today EJB looks like this. This is EJB. It's a just stateless, and that's all. Okay, so we have listener. So it is about this annotation. Very probably these two are not required, which I just like to make it sure that the setup is complete. So the only thing what's necessary is to give it some name and use JMDI name. This is the most tricky part. When we tried it together in the company, we found sometimes that it's sometimes a bit tricky, but it makes sense, and I will show you. So this is the receiving part, and we need also the part which sends the message. So in the sender, we will not send the message directly to receiver. We will properly use JMS. So we need these two fields. Same. We have connection factory and we have the queue. Before I forget, for this part, I need this mains. And the message is sent from the factory this way. So from factory, you go create context, you get the context, and on the context, create producer send message to the queue, and this is the message. As a message, you can send various types, including Java object, because this whole thing happens inside Java. Sending object is the simplest way. Of course, you will see that the messages can be stored to a disk, so you need to send a serializable object. Usually, we send some IDs, what's necessary to do, and pretty simple objects. Nothing very complex. So this is the sending part, based on these setup names. And on the receiver part, here you see we say that this bean, this is, by the way, one of the EJB types, message driven bean. So we say this bean is message driven. It uses this JMDI and is listener, so it will call the message. Does it make sense? Do you think it will work?
I'll just add up a little here for those that are not familiar. The JMDI, think of the JMDI namespace as a big box where you can drop different components in. And then to pick a component, you have to give the name to the box to get that component. So in this case, Peter's message listener will be dropped in that box, and you can pick this component from that box with the name that is mapped to, that is given to the map name variable there. So JNDI, again, is one of the names that can scare people, but JNDI, think of it as a big box for keeping different application components in.
Thank you. Just preparation. So I will show you what happens if I will run it this way. I know that it's broken, and the reason why I show you is that it's actually good to know what happens if something is wrong, because I'm very sure that when you will try to play with it, you will get into this situation. So it didn't deploy the application. It just said I'm not able to find anything on this JNDI name. And the lookup is JMS/test factory. So it crashed just on this. So what we need as a simple way, we can do it in the AdminUI. AdminUI is always available on the port 4848. This is, I think, simple, right? So you see resources, JMS resources, and we need to create connection factory. I prefer always to create my one. So the connection factory is the JMS/test factory. Do you remember? This is the name we use in the source code, in the receiver, in the sender. JMS/test factory. This is this one. So we create this one. This is Q connection factory, and this is interesting part. You will return this to this later. So let's make it factory, and also the destination resource, which is the Q. We can make the same important Q, and that's all. So now we created both parts which are required, and we can start it again. And this time it should work. Compiles. Right. Whoa. This time it found. Good. The application loaded. And we are sending our first message. This time it went through JMS. We see that we have got the message. You see, so it went through this. Okay, because I'm debugging it. I love NetBeans, although they sometimes feel small. We can debug both sides. This whole processing happens in different threads. So let's call it. So you see, we went through the. It's not that nicely visible, through the resource ping, through this, to the sender, sending message, and now we are sending the message. Then it's sent. Run only this. And you see that we have got a message on the other side. So now we have got the message. We can go down here. So the message is from the request. Do some sleep and continue. I will remove the breakpoints now. We can play with it a bit. The performance is also influenced by printing the messages, but I think that it's nicer to see how it works. So we will keep the simulation of the load, and we'll see how it behaves. So let's start with just one thread and 1,000 requests. All right. It will influence the performance. So 1000 messages were sent, and they were also processed. Let's try it again. Yeah. What you can see is that in the beginning, it was sending a message, and immediately the message was started, but then it takes some time to process it. So at some moment, the threads are full, and it will just pile the messages and keep them for running. Sometimes they started to be processed, and when the 1000 was done, the sender stopped. This sender stopped, and we just got to the processing, which is later here. So you see that the processing part just followed in the time. So this is the main reason why to use JMS. You process the request when your server is able to do. Important thing, let's remind this part, in the factory, you are able to influence the size of the pool. So you can scale the processing according to your computers. If you have a slow computer, you can put, I don't know, 5 here. If you have super powerful computer, you can have 1000 of threads here. So that's the scaling, pretty easy. And I would like to show you what happens if the server is shut down during the processing. So let's make it more difficult. So 500 threads, 10,000 requests, and okay. So you see 10,000 requests are sent very quickly. The response is immediate, and now the server is processing the messages. You will see that when I clear the output, it still works. What happens if I kill the server? The server is now dead. And what happens if I will start it again? It's a few seconds, and it continues. So your messages are safe and are processed as there is some empty some threads which is ready to process them. That's the most simple and obvious way. Sometimes it's a bit annoying that before you deploy your application, you need to set up the JMS. So it's possible to carry your definition with you, and you don't need to do the setup. So what we will do is, let's undeploy the application, done, and let's, okay, I started the server, so it needs to start. To do JMS resources, connections. All right. Okay. So there is no more setup anymore, and this would fail now. So I think it came in Jakarta 10. It's possible to annotate some class which will which will be scanned during boot, and it will create the resources by itself. What's important is that now we cannot create global resources. I'm not sure if you saw in the log that during the deployment there was saying that it is creating Java global JMS and so on. So we only can create APP or module resources. So we will create it on APP level. Java APP, that's this one, and the other one is here. So now we carry the definition with ourselves, and before the application is deployed, these resources are created. Should we do this? Here. You see,
There's a question here. It's asking, could you show how to log connections to JMS queues from remote clients in Payara?
how to log remote connections?
Connections, yes, to JMS queues from remote clients in Payara.
If the question is, okay, I cannot do anything here. If it is configured inside the application, so I don't see it in the admin console. Personally, I would do the logging either here, because here I know what's going on, and I can say log the details from the message, like for example, who is sending it. So if I'm able to some identification on the sender, I think so. Okay. And if the question is if we can log it on some system, not sure, don't know. I never tried that. I always use the logging inside the own message. Usually the no system contains plenty of JMS messages, so usually there's no need to have some unified logging for all requests. I've seen similar requests for REST. It's possible to do via filter there, but this is not the case of JMS. So we probably need to into the sorry in here, and I think that yeah. I think I'm not aware of anything we can do. Maybe there will be possibility to use the documentation of our broker and try to find there if there is a way how to log this. So the answer is I don't know. Good. So I'll try to return back. So you see that it works. Let's try it. that it still works. It happens. You'll see that it's again full of messages. Yeah, so we did the configuration and yeah. This is the easiest way for the deployment. I have a friend who is deploying applications, and he always hates when it's necessary to do lots of preparation before he starts the application. So that's simple, but less configurable. Okay, and the last things before I'll finish is that I discussed some topics around if it's possible to connect JMS and Payara JMS and Kafka, it's possible that there is a description how to do it. Also, we have specific annotations to directly connect to Kafka, so it's possible to connect to Kafka. And if you need something very special, it's there are ways, so including the logging. It's then necessary to look into the internal JMS of the particular server and look if there is something supported by the server. I've found interesting topic related to Payara, that we can connect request tracing and health checks to JMS. So we can write a listener to the JMS and get informed about any problems and about requests. Yeah, and also it's possible to connect to replace Payara's internal JMS broker with something else if you are interested. That's all I have prepared today. So you see,
nice.
It's quite possible to run plenty of messages that are reliable, and they are pretty fast. So if I will make it, I will return back to in a second. I will just run last demo. So in the receiver, I will remove the waiting because I need it fast now. And I will run a million of requests. So this is 10,000 more zeros. Good, it started. Here's the log. And here are the requests. 1 million of them. So you can see how quickly the messages are processed. So that's all from me.
Yes, nice. Thank you very much, Peter. There's a question here from Stefan. He says he's been using JMS for a while, and whenever he tries to run a long-running process, for example, sending batch emails, the transaction times out. And so he's asking if there's a way to extend the transaction timeout.
This is again matter of setup of the particular JMS broker. Definitely there is a way. I think that we don't have such particular setup. This is for sending. I think this is for sending sending requests. So this doesn't help. So it will be either necessary to find the properties which influence this, or it's possible to use concurrency for such tasks. So it's possible to prepare the data like in database, and then send it via scheduler. That's one thing. Yeah, that could work. That but the problem is probably that there are too many mails, so the transaction is therefore timeouts. But I think that if the as you see, I'm using listener just to pass the processing to EJB, and it's a bit slow because 500. Okay, I'll stop it. It's okay. It's almost done. 500 requesting threads, 500 processing threads, and 200 JMS threads. Bit fine. Okay, so here I would create a manage executor service, and I would create various threads, different threads for each mail. So it first allows to run the threads in parallel, and it also should keep the transaction for the sending, because sending of one mail shouldn't take that long. Just simple manage executor service. So in a cycle, submit all of these requests, and they run with the context, including the transaction. So in this processing, you should be able to access database and have the proper context. And again, it's possible to manage the level of concurrency on top of the managed executor service. So you can influence how many threads are created for this processing. This is how I would do.
I also do have an experience with batch emailing. We were using Microsoft as our gateway, and apparently the emails were being throttled by the server. So the batch was failing. We would try to send emails and then it will fail. And so we had to actually find out on the server and then do the necessary settings to not get the emails throttled. So you might also want to look at the other side as well. Maybe you are being throttled or something, especially if you are sending a lot of emails in a batch. The server might bottleneck you, so you see that you will have your services waiting and then things will be timing out for you. So you might want to also check out that as well from the server side. There is a question here, Peter, from Johan. He's asking which is the best way between the injection and then the traditional resource injection route, which is the best?
Yes, the resource is traditional, and more people moves, and actually the whole Jakarta moves towards the CDI. So the more and more specs are starting to support inject instead of resource. So this is the future. I'm currently not sure how far is it with JMS. So there will be still continuing support for resource, but at some version there should be also possible to inject the resources via @inject annotation. So not sure now. I can try, but very soon it will be definitely possible. And this is the future. The resource is basically general and old way of injecting resources. The inject is inside the server. It goes through different code. Different code is responsible for injecting, but at the end you have it in place and it works. I'm not sure now.
I think in the end, for maximum compatibility for all implementations, @resource is guaranteed to work. @inject is still being rolled out. The platform is still switching. So especially if you are working with legacy systems or much older systems, then @resource is your best bet. But if you are starting from scratch today, you probably might want to lean towards @inject because that is the future. So yeah, there is no right or wrong answer. It depends.
I will look at the. Okay, yeah. You can continue. I will look at the specification.
Okay. Yeah, I think we are on the top of the hour. So in the absence of any question, we can just hand over back to Dominica to close this party for us. It was exciting, and I think we should hold another one, Peter. This time around, probably with Kafka, and see how it goes. But we'll look at that later. So yeah, let me hand over to Dominica.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Peter. Thanks, Lukman. That was hopefully very insightful to everyone. And yes, there's we've got lots more coming if we're talking about further webinars, further educational content. So if you have any further questions to Peter or Lukman beyond this webinar, then feel free to email us at info@payara.fish, or just head over to one of our social media channels. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter, we are on Facebook. But the best way probably to get through to us is via the blog. So if you want to, for example, check other content that we've got, other educational resources, blog is the best. Payara blog is the best place for you to start. So here it is, blog@payara.fish. You can just subscribe if you wish. Very simple process, just email address, and then whenever we post something new, you will receive an email. And we've got a lot of content from Lukman. Peter as well contributes, and all of our engineering team as well. So there's lots to learn from our sort of collective brain at Payara. So do follow us on our blog. Yeah, and for those of you who are interested in joining other events, again, keep an eye on the blog, keep an eye on our social channels. We advertise our upcoming events there as soon as they are announced. So yeah, please keep an eye on those. And if you want to try Payara platform, if you have tried Payara platform community, that's great. I know a lot of you are probably already using it. If you want to give it a go in the enterprise version, you can download the free trial from Payara website. So you just head over to payara.fish, try free, and it will take you to the page where you can basically just download a Payara Enterprise trial for free. And also for those of you who are more interested maybe in cloud as well, we are also running a Payara Cloud Hackathon at the moment, which is an exciting opportunity to play around with Payara Cloud technology, Jakarta EE obviously as well, and a chance to win some money prizes. £3,000 is the top prize. So the Payara Hackathon is still running. You can enter also on the website. Yeah, and we're running it still until the end of the month. So if you haven't seen it, if you haven't tried it, but you're interested, you still have time to join. There's still 10 days to join and to play with this exciting technology. So, okay, so I think that's all I wanted to mention today. I know we are now 1 minute past the hour. Thanks again for the conversation. Thanks for the questions. Further questions, yes, please do send them at info@payara.fish, because we don't really have time to answer them now. This webinar is being recorded, so if you do want to revisit at any point, just use the same link that you have used to join today, and you should be able to see the recording just within the next few minutes if you want to go back to any of the bits of the demo. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you very much again, Peter. Thank you, Lukman. And I hope to see some of you again at our further webinars, and have a good rest of your day. Thank you, and yeah, see you later. Bye-bye.